teams are less worried about heroes like Invoker nowadays. I mean, they'll still need to ban out the Prophet, Lycan as well, but now it's Ice who do have the first pick, and there we go. It's actually Tongfu who straight up banned the Prophet.
Yeah, they're happy to take it for themselves. They will not give it away. And
Yeah.
They know how powerful the hero is. They showed it to us just a game ago. And it's 3 heroes that can jungle who get the initial bans. 3 very strong pushing heroes to start it off. So Ice did the same opening last game with the Chen and Enchantress. It's a little bit... I mean, it's a little bit telling that they're banning out both of these strong junglers, because generally, if you have the first pick, you can either you can ban out one of the junglers, then take one for yourself. Lycan gets the ban. Again, another very typical, unsurprising ban. It's all push so far, which means the gankers that were available last game are going to be available this time around. I am curious, maybe Ice will go ahead and steal that Queen of Pain away from Tongfu. I think that would be a great way to start the draft.
Yeah, I think that's, I mean, especially because Ice are unlikely to go straight up in first pick. That I think Ice maybe, last game we saw Anti-Mage being banned out with the first 3 bans by Tongfu, and that's something that Ice used against Tongfu when they beat them in the Gigabyte Dota Masters, although that did end up coming, I mean, with all the conditions as previously mentioned. But for me, I mean, these jungle heroes, the Chen, the Enchantress ban from Ice, I think it more sort of shows their discomfort. It shows that they're not interested in picking them. They don't really have anyone who's that comfortable using those 2 heroes. But at the same time, I mean, I've seen a few Tongfu games. They don't, in general, pick up Chen or Enchantress. I think I've seen them use Chen once or twice, but I have never seen them use Enchantress. So a bit surprised by those bans coming out from Ice. I'd almost say it's worth leaving Enchantress in the pool, banning out a hero like Queen of Pain. I mean, because if the other team pick heroes like Enchantress, you can always get the sort of defensive laning heroes. Get your ES, get Queen of Pains, get Windruns, get these heroes who are hard to gank by a hero like Enchantress.
It is a Panda who gets the ban instead, and a Darkseer as well, so a lot of team fight, but this just shows you how many heroes Tongfu can be dominant and successful with. You just can't ban them all. And the question is, they left the Shrek available, they left the Queen of Pain available, the Bounty Hunter, the Night Stalker. I mean, it's a lot of heroes that Tongfu definitely knows how to use. They know how to be aggressive with them when they want to. They know how to win the laning stage, or at least hold their own. And I don't see a hero that's in the pool right now that Ice is going to pick up, and it has the same impact that Prophet first pick did on Tongfu's side. It will be an Invoker who has the potential to do so, but you mentioned that Invoker is not necessarily being seen as top pick worthy by a lot of teams, or at least not ban worthy. And one of the reasons for that is because Invoker has to sit in his lane for a large chunk of the early game. He's not going to be able to control runes even if he goes mid. If he tries to control runes, he's going to miss out on experience because he can't push the lane nearly as well as other heroes who normally go mid. And while he's got that Sunstrike, which gives you some global gank potential, Invoker is a hero that you build a team, that you have to build a team around to support him, whereas Prophet is a hero that can fit into any lineup. Queen of Pain again will be the pick, and if Ice is punished by this Quap, and these 2 teams somehow meet up again later in the tournament, there is no way the Quap is going unbanned, but for now they give it away. They give away the Windrunner, 2 mobile burst type heroes. Again, I mean, Tongfu, it seems like they're going to go the same direction, which is these heroes that are difficult to lock down, strong solo heroes, strong laning heroes, and really look to dominate the mid to late game around like the 30-minute mark or so.
Oh yeah, not at all surprised by these 2 picks coming out from Tongfu. I mean, I almost expect them to once again run the Queen of Pain. Maybe mid could even go in the safe lane this time around, depending on how they want to do this with the Windrunner being there as well. The Shrek though still in the pool. Ice grabs that with an Earthshaker. I like the Earthshaker pick. That's a hero that will benefit Ice a lot. We did not see that last game, so having it this game will definitely help them out. Tongfu here, I feel they may just go for one of their support options. Vengeful Spirit still in the pool, and that seems to be their support hero of choice in general. It does give them such a strong positioning advantage in the mid game with that swap.
Yeah, you mentioned the Earthshaker. I love this pick. We saw last game, Tidehunter Ravage, either he wasn't able to get it off in a lot of fights because he was trying to hit a better Ravage, or when he got it off, it wasn't the best positioning. It's got a long cooldown. Sure, Ravage is devastating. Don't get me wrong. There are definitely fights that have been, games that have been decided by good Ravages, but it's also a spell that can be completely wasted, and if you mess up that Ravage, or if the team buys back, let's say the Queen of Pain gets a Bloodstone, whatever happens, if the Ravage doesn't completely turn the tides of the game, you don't have it for a long time, whereas that Earthshaker Fissure, you get it from the very start. And of course, it's a great long-range initiation, even more reliable than Ravage, to be honest, at long range for setting up initiation on a Queen of Pain, on a Windrunner. But hey, Tongfu getting one of their absolute favorite heroes and a fantastic pusher. Another hero that is just such a pain to gank off. I don't know how Tongfu does it, man. Somehow they always build these lineups which seem to fit every need. They've got the stun, they've got a little bit of push, a lot of AoE, strong lanes, and the mid-game potential cannot be underestimated either.
Oh yeah, and I think they got a bit upset that last game Ice banned out the DK with the 4th and 5th pick when something they were maybe planning on picking up. So this game they say, okay, we can do without the Vengeful Spirit. If they want to ban that out, they can, and they will here. So there's not going to be any Vengeful Spirit for Tongfu, but they've got the DK this time around. And I think they're going to be pretty happy going for a different support option. If they want to go for a strong sort of mid-game push, they could get something like the Venomancer. Venomancer also really useful because you can use those Plague Wards so effectively to get yourself vision, to get that map control up. Mid-game, you can get a Gem and D ward, but just having them to scout ahead and just get vision all around whenever you go for a push, it could be a strong option to go with as a support hero. Or even Crystal Maiden will give them a strong laning stage, having those double nukes. And we will see Morphling being banned out by Tongfu. So banning out a couple of those carry options. Part of me thinks, Ice, maybe this is time to whip out that Outworld Destroyer.
Well, you mentioned the first ban on the carry option. I would not be surprised. In fact, I almost am expecting the Anti-Mage to be the follow-up ban. You mentioned OD as an option here. What he gives you is just a fantastic, fantastic laner. That he can easily win mid against a lot of these heroes, or at least hold his own. As you hit the mid game, he's one of the best ways to deal with the Dragon Knight. Because that orb ignores armor, it is pure damage, so it will rip through even a hero that's generally very tanky and hard to bring down. Of course, Outward Destroyer is pretty hard countered by a BKB, but in the mid game, especially if you get a lead, which you can expect to, because of his strong laning potential, as well as the nice defensive power of the Earthshaker and the Invoker, as well as the push power of the Leshrac. If you get that decent start, you can chew up a hero like a Queen of Pain. You can chew up a Windrunner. He's also a great hero to pick up a lot of utility items on, things like a Yule Scepter, more commonly a Force Staff, sometimes a Mechanism. And if you get those items up quickly, it really helps your mid game, and Ice needs to shore that up, because last time around they just had nothing. They were completely on the back foot. Also, OD would be a wild card here. I don't think Tongfu has played many games against OD. I'd have to check, and I don't know if you've seen any offhand, but it would be a little something different, and sometimes that's what you need, especially after dropping game 1, is just to throw something different the way of your opponent, and hope it catches them off guard.
Yeah, it is something that could maybe shock Tongfu, and yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where you need some just high DPS heroes to take down heroes like DK. The pure damage coming out from those OD or right clicks can help do so, but Ice, I'm going to have to react to whatever gets banned. It's going to be Broodmother. I mean, Tongfu handled that Broodmother really well last game, and I feel like they could have handled another one again this game, but they do decide to ban out. Ice going to go with the Enigma for now. So that, I mean, it could go in the jungle, could go in the side lane solo. Not sure how you feel about the Enigma here.
Well, one concern I have about this Enigma is it's going to be hard to hit a black hole. Now, of course, when we see Enigma picked nowadays, he is not picked nearly that much for the black hole. Usually when teams pick Enigma, they pick him for two things. His ability to farm, and along with that, his ability to do so in pretty much any situation in the jungle, and his ability to push. Sorry, not just in the jungle, but he can also go to the off lane. He can go solo mid, which you've actually seen Ehome do quite a bit with that solo mid Enigma. I believe it's King J who plays it. Or maybe I think it's Ehome.
Yes.
It is Ehome.
Yeah, okay. Ehome's King J, solo mid Enigma.
So the Enigma, although he's not picked for the black hole, they really kind of need that at this point. They don't have that raw damage burst output that you talked about, unless they get some sort of crazy start. I mean, yeah, Leshrac gives you potential, Invoker gives you potential, but the mobility of this Queen of Pain, you expect to see a Force Staff up on a Windrunner. You expect to see either a quick pipe, at least a Vitality Booster, or maybe a BKB on the Dragon Knight. That's generally the way that they like to go. Sometimes a drum along the way. But you need that burst damage, because otherwise these heroes will pop those items to keep them alive. They'll use their escape mechanisms, and you called it, man! It's gonna be an OD. I am so excited. Look at the Wombo combo on Ice. That's another nice setup spell for them, as well as some outrageous DPS. Gods, you are on the mark today.
It was, I mean, it's one of those things, they probably saw that DK and thought, okay, this is a game we need the OD. I mean, OD not great against Windrunner or Queen of Pain. They are intel heroes. The ultimate won't do much damage, although once you get the Sheepstick, you can maybe lock them down, and they do take a lot of right-click damage. But against a DK, you do need something like an OD, and it's one of those heroes that they've had great success with. I mean, every time I've seen them use it, they have done well, and we'll see what they want to do here with it. Probably even playing it, I want to say they're going to go safe lane OD even. Maybe put it in a tri-lane with Enigma at bottom, or if they really want, they could solo it and have ES Leshrac dual lane, maybe with the Enigma in jungle, but I feel Leshrac maybe as that side lane solo in the bottom lane. I mean, it could go mid, sort of Ehome style, but I think Invoker side lane is just a bit weak, especially if he's going in that hard lane at bottom.
Yeah, it especially gets Tongfu's lineup. I mean, The Crystal Maiden will likely be protecting someone on that safe lane. Oh, this is a very different lineup for Tongfu that we're seeing here. It started off looking pretty similar. They followed up with two heroes that are not particularly mobile. They do offer you very strong early game. And if you look at Ice, I think that's what Tongfu needs, unless they went into a super hard carry, which they elected not to do. They need that great early game, because if the mid game hits, I guess that you can try to split them up, but Invoker, Leshrac, Earthshaker, Enigma, OD, a lot of teamfight, a lot of AoE, and with that OD, they have the burst damage that they were lacking before that pick. A lot of ability to just burst down heroes and pretty much go all 5 mid if they get up the core items. Take a fight at Roshan, they're going to be comfortable with that. It looks like it will be a safe lane OD. He started off with a completed null talisman and a single set of tangos, and Tongfu, it looks like they want to get aggressive, which makes sense. When you pick into a Venomancer and a Crystal Maiden, all 5 heroes grouped up, DK leading the way. No skill selected yet for any of these heroes. But yeah, Tongfu is looking to slow down the farm up here, and probably slow down the Enigma as well.
Oh yeah, I mean, they may just be, I like to say, probably haven't even decided their lanes. They just go 5 top so they can try scout out these lanes, see if it's OD safe lane, find out where the OD is, find out if Ice are in fact doing a trial lane. Once they sort of get some vision, get some scouting information, then they can decide how they want to lane this, who they want bottom, who they want top. If they want to do a trial lane top against this OD, OD has gone for an early null talisman with some tangos here. Doesn't have a whole lot of regen, is going to be in this trialing with ES and Leshrac, so we'll see what Tongfu want to do. They're going to run right into this OD. Is there going to be a Gale? It's going to be a long range one. If there is one, it looks like OD is going to be out of range, as he does cut around those trees, and it looks like Veno not going to be able to catch up. OD should get away from this.
Oh, that was so close. Just a half second or even less of delay, and that would have been a first blood. And you do not want to give up first blood on a hero like OD, especially against these aggressive heroes. Just basic items will make a huge difference for Tongfu, as well as a few levels. The nukes scale up rapidly, of course, and just to boot some Crystal Maiden, boots on a Venomancer, that can be the difference between a kill and a near-death escape. So a great job by Ice.
I agree.
Not dying.
And look at what Tongfu are doing with these lanes. It looks like they're going to be sending tri-lane top to deal with this OD trial, and this is a CM Venomancer winner. They've got 3 range heroes harassing. They've got a lot of killing potential, and that's because of that early vision they got. I mean, if they saw that it was going to be OD mid or maybe OD at the bottom in a duel or trial, they probably would have done something different. But by scouting out this OD at top, they're going to send this trial lane top. They've got Venomancer with an early DD rune, although it looks like Veno could be in a bit of trouble if they can get this fissure. Leshrac actually going to start it off with a split earth. CM coming in as OD does get shackled. It looks like things are going to calm down, but no, Venomancer finds Leshrac, does not hit the Gale. Bit of a mistake coming from...
That was a kill right there.
Is this 2 Chinese... Yeah, misses the Gale and missed the Nova. This is Chinese teams we're watching.
Yeah, I'm actually going to check the pings here, because that is very uncharacteristic. Tongfu looks fine. Definitely do not appear to be lagging now. Maybe they were during that engagement. But I feel like Kabu just waited too long there, and... Dendy, I think he's been interviewed about his Pudge play in the past, and his basic attitude is just no hesitation with throwing out those hooks. And although Gale is much easier to hit than a hook, it is sort of the same philosophy. You don't want to wait, give the opponent a chance to juke, just throw it without hesitation with full confidence. That was very unfortunate for Tongfu, and I'm very surprised that Gigolo actually tried to take that, especially with OD already ensconced up all the way in the top lane near the tower. OD also not very effective at level 1, especially against all these nukers. That was a awkward decision, and he's pretty lucky not to die there.
I mean, DD Venomancer, even without the Gale hitting, if that Nova had hit, it probably would have been a kill once they used the fissure and the split earth. But, I mean, yeah, Ice can count themselves lucky. That could have been a very quick and untimely first blood. But the other lanes, a quick look at them. We've got Queen of Pain against Enigma at bottom. I'd say it's a fairly even matchup, depending on how they want to play it. Enigma wants to get that soaring, but the problem is going soaring against a hero like Queen of Pain is that you're taking a lot of damage, self-inflicting it, and Queen of Pain can look to punish that with some aggression, although generally Enigma should out-level Queen of Pain. Queen of Pain will look to go maybe for an early bottle here. Mid lane, DK up against Invoker. That's going to be a tough lane for DK, who is trying to rush his bottle, but so far already down to red HP, has not got a single creep. Bruce Lee on that Invoker, not playing the OD. I feel like it's normally Bruce Lee on OD. I don't know what you remember from seeing their last OD games. It's something a bit different coming from Ice this time around.
He is the Invoker player, so that may be the thing. I don't know if they had an Invoker on the team when they picked OD, but he has played OD in the past. He's generally that one position player. For anyone who's not familiar with the terminology, that just means out of all the players on the team, if there's farm available, he's going to get it. And generally, he's playing the hero that they want to give the most farm to. But if you are the Invoker player for a team, that's sort of a special role, similar to being the Chen or the Enchantress player, where you'll generally get those heroes regardless of what the rest of the composition on your team is like, just because there's such a special skill set and experience that comes with handling them in big matches. So it is going to be an Invoker DK mid, as you mentioned, and a lot of harassment was traded right off the bat. And you do not want to trade hits with an Invoker. Especially, I mean, DK does have that regen, but this early on, even a single point Dragon Blood, it would help him tank the auto attacks. It's not going to keep him at full HP. He is working towards a bottle, but Invoker is doing his best to make his life difficult. If DK can get the bottle, maybe go for some early bottle throwing. He does have decent push with that Dragon, that Breathe Fire. So as the lane progresses, if DK doesn't get too harassed, or harassed too badly, he'll be okay. But these first stages are crucial. The longer the bottle is delayed, the more likely DK is to have to say Fairy Salve to himself, maybe even go back to the fountain. And if that happens, Invoker is going to have some free farm, as well as an opportunity to push the tower a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, so far this mid lane has gone pretty poorly for DK. I mean, being down this low with only the one creep kill, and that came from a Breath of Fire. So he could theoretically still be full HP with that one creep kill if he just positioned himself when he used that Breath of Fire. So he's just taken harass for basically no gain whatsoever, as Bruce Lee is currently on top of that mid lane. We're going to have a quick, now it looks like the teams are ready. So we'll see how this DK will try handle this mid lane. He probably just wants to use that. I mean, basically just want to spam. Even level 1 Breath of Fire, it costs 100 mana, but you have to get that bottle up. So he's going to use that even for one creep.
Yeah, and indeed he got that one creep, so he's getting very close. This last creep kill, he's not going to get it, and the Cold Snap coming out. Will this be a first blood? I think he's just going to live. One more auto attack will do it, but Bruce Lee gets fogged. That was actually extremely close on the top lane. Shackle shot onto B-Boy. The action breakout all over the place. Split Earth is being faked repeatedly by Gigolo. Great job, and the fissure block was superb there. If you're going to have a melee hero in a tri-lane versus tri-lane situation, Earthshaker is the best one to have, especially when your fissures are money like that. Without that fissure, that would have been a kill. So 2 first blood attempts, one for each team, being missed out on there yet again. I think that's 3 that we've already seen where I really expected to see a first blood. No deaths going out yet, but I feel like sooner or later someone is going to die on this top lane, and it's probably going to be on the ice side.
Oh, absolutely. This top lane ice, I mean, they've got the fissure. It's going to be used defensively, but even so, with the slow from Venomancer as well as Crystal Maiden, I mean, it might not be enough. I mean, it'll just sort of temporarily slow them. We'll see what Leshrac can do to back him up. I mean, it's the Leshrac support with the ES. They're just sort of underleveled, underfarmed. Leshrac has not got a single point in XP yet. And ES only... In ES, neither hero has any XP, and at 2.5 minutes in... I mean, that's not really a good position to be in. I feel like Leshrac could maybe be doing some pulling here. With that small camp, you can pull that to the creep wave. But right now, they're wasting time, and they're actually... they're spotted out. I mean, Venom knows exactly where they are. I don't know if this is the best position to be in against this aggressive... Well, not so much aggressive, but against this strong trial that Tongfu have.
The potential for Ice to make a mistake here is just so much higher than it is for Tongfu at the moment. Because if you get in the range of Gale, if you get shackled to a tree, if Nova hits, say, 2 heroes... Those heroes are probably going to go down, whereas on the ice side, they need a perfect fissure block, an amazing split earth, probably hitting multiple heroes. And OZ at this stage of the game, while he's very good at lane controlling and, you know, sort of winning a 1v1 battle, last hitting effectively, he doesn't offer you much offensive firepower, especially with the skill build, which is the very standard build, to max Astral Imprisonment as well as Essence Art as quickly as possible, at least get a couple points into Astral Imprisonment. And it looks like there's a little initiation on the Sanction, he will be okay. Yeah, but this... Oh, Courier bottom! Haystern picked up a Wens. He really wants it. The Courier's not being microed, and it will go down. That is pretty much a tower's worth of free gold. So right off the bat, great play by Wens, and that might be the spark his team needed here.
It is, but I'm questioning... Wens is actually sort of transitioned into a jungle here. He's been in this jungle for a bit now, leaving this lane open to Queen of Pain, but he's decided, okay, I'm just going to farm in the jungle. It's safer. I don't get harassed as much, and I can maybe farm just as quickly, but he's going to go back to lane now. I'm just not sure. I mean, that was just unusual. I mean, he picked up the Courier, so ultimately it was worth it, but it's just interesting that he was, in fact, in that jungle at all.
I believe what happened is he picked up the haste, he was going for a gank on mid, then he saw the Courier. As we see initiation top, B-Boy is in a bit of trouble here. Awoke trying to tango his round, he's out of tangos. Shackle shot as well as power shot onto the OD, and with that disable already used, that is first blood going to Tongfu. We expected it, we can't be surprised by it. Crystal Maiden is going to live with just one more auto attack's worth of HP. Venomancer continue to give chase. He is slowing just a little bit with that Poison Sting. Meanwhile, Windrunner cleans up the Leshrac. It is going to be a complete 3-hero wipe from the looks of it. B-Boy is trying to juke, but you can't really juke when you have no boots at this stage of the game. And down goes the Earthshaker. So a clean 1-2-3 sweep there in the tri-lane. And the tri-lane is over. It is completely lost. The Leshrac and ES already had no EXP. Sure, they're hitting level 2 on the ES. That's really not important. With that gold, with that level advantage, Tongfu is going to be able to continue to just crush this lane.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, Tongfu at top, once you get the first couple of kills, things are going to get out of hand. I mean, and with that, OD is going to start struggling to farm because he's going to put under more and more pressure. These Radiant supports, I mean, level 3 Venomancer. The Die heroes, they're just so under-leveled. Leshrac, still level 1. ES only just hit level 2, although it's Leshrac who needs the levels more than ES. Leshrac now finally going to go for this small creep camp pull. I feel this is what he needed to do a long time ago. Sure, the one camp got blocked, but that's the advantage of being on this dire side at top lane. There's always a camp you can pull. As bottom lane, Queen of Pain with the help of CM actually TPing bottom, coming for the Enigma. And that helps you get up a kill early on in bottom lane.
Great job by Tongfu there. They know they've won the tri-lane already. They can safely afford to leave the Windrunner alone, and we've talked about it already. There's just not much kill potential up top, especially after those kills. You know that Ice is going to be playing defensively. And Tongfu just out mind gaming, out thinking their opponent here, rotating the CM down bottom. And the Enigma, who was already out of lane and letting Moo get a head start, Moo is now having a fantastic time. Look at him in terms of that CS, 28 and 8 against the Enigma, who's 22 and 6. It's not a bad creep score for the Enigma, but to me the more important thing is great farm to start. Gigolo denies a DD up towards the top rune. Will he be punished for it? Shackle shot not going to latch, but the Gale does hit defensive fissure, not good enough. Gigolo will go down here. Enigma has joined the party. He's got the black hole. Kaboo gets a kill, and that's a decent trade. It's pretty even, although the Venomancer a little bit higher in terms of levels. It looks like he will go down. Will the Venomancer die? He's getting blocked by the ES. The ES is blocking. He's still... B-Boy is still blocking Wens. I cannot believe it. And it looks like the Fissure is going to hit Malefice to follow. I think they'll finally get Kaboo, but in the meantime, the Windrunner went down. So I guess they get 2 kills, and WOD actually gets the last hit, so in the end it works out pretty well. Of course, Chris Maiden getting some levels, and DK just sitting mid this entire time.
Yeah, OD getting that kill actually ended up being a pretty good result for Ice there. It's OD's doing alright, he's up to 20 CS now, has his treads, probably wants to go for that quick 4-star here. Just for the mobility and the survivability that does give you. Although, I mean, ultimately, you will need a sheepstick against a lot of these Radiant heroes, but going without a 4-star can be very difficult as an OD. And Enigma, yeah, just rotating towards his top lane. It is now Leshrac at bottom. Gigolo trying to catch up some levels from farm. Quite funny, the 2 supports just duking out at bottom lane, now transitioning into solos. It's CM, level 5 up against a level 2 Leshrac.
It's kind of ring around the rosy here, as all the players are rotating around, but those supports, level 5 and 4, compare them to the Ice supports, who are 3 and 2, and crucially the Leshrac, the one who needs to help the most, is the one who's dying. Enigma drops in the middle lane. DK does stun up the Invoker, but it is a Wex Invoker this time around, and he should be able to escape thanks to that extremely high move speed. He's also got phase boots. He will be going for the very standard Drums of Endurance build. Give him even more move speed, even more survivability. And that EMP Tornado, Moo goes back in, drops the look how tanky Bruce Lee is, and he's going to turn this one around. Easy kill. Total overextension there by Moo, who just was desperate to kill off Bruce Lee and paid for it.
Full magic wand or something, and he healed up very quickly. And I think even without the magic wand, he would have got that kill, I'm pretty sure, though. There was just not enough damage coming from the Screaming ulti. And bottom lane, CM not going to be attempt to get down. They get the stun, and Leshrac will chain this with an Edict probably, and that's a dead CM. So Ice get a couple kills chained together, and with that, I mean, they're finding space for OD to farm at mid. They kill at mid lane fairly importantly, and now bottom lane as well. They're making something happen. If they can start pressuring these towers as well, especially with the Enigma, they can find a bit of momentum going their way.
And this, as we see 2 fights break out simultaneously, but it looks like mid is the one to watch. How is going to go down? I think one more auto tech should do it. Great Gale, actually, no, maybe he won't. Bruce Lee getting turned around, eats a Gale. He's on the high ground now. He's looking to retreat out. B-Boy drops the Fissure. Bruce Lee still running. Look how powerful that slow is. Awoke has joined the party. Power shot as well as Flame Breath coming through, cleaning up the kill on that Invoker. A much-needed kill, because Bruce Lee was off to a great start. Excuse me, 44 CS in 9 minutes, 2 and 1. He was 2 and 0. This also means they're going to transition directly into a push. Of course, Ice doing the same thing bottom. They're going to get a trade-off here with Edict as well as the Eidolons. They will be able to rip through this tower, at least force a glow.
Yeah, it's a good trade for Ice. I mean, Tongfu, they were smart. They got a kill and transitioned to straight push, but they're unable to defend this bottom lane. DK looking for ES at mid. Not going to latch on with this stun, and it looks like Tongfu. They're not coming back to defend this bottom tier 1 tower yet, but I mean, they're still in a position where it's not down yet. They can get back in time if they have some TPs. And it looks like Queen of Pain not going to... it's actually Ice who are going to back off. They're not going to commit to this, as they do know that Tongfu have since gone missing since getting that mid tower. I like this ward placement. Tongfu getting vision around the mid lane on the high ground, as we will see whether or not Ice can make something happen. They've got a lot of heroes grouped up around this bottom lane, maybe going for a smoke here. ES does have one. Look at this ES, absolutely nothing. No boots, no CS, and completely taken out of the game at the moment.
Just a smoke at the moment. And you mentioned that ward on the high ground, and this is really a signature... Oh, actually, not a good time to talk about it. Wenz eats a kill. Moo jumps in, looking to make a go here, and Wenz has the black... Actually, no, sorry, he does not have the black hole. Flame Breath coming through, cleaning him up. Edict doing a ton of damage, but Kabu, will he get away? In fact, it might be Hao who picks up a kill here. B-Boy with no boots, almost sure to fall. Great split earth. Disruption to follow, or excuse me, not disruption, Astral Imprisonment by the OD, but they're gonna back off. This OD is just not ready to engage. Invoker joins the party, and now the OD comes in. EMP as well. Will he be able to kill off the DK? It looks like DK very low. Tornado should finish that kill off. Indeed it does. DK not having a great start. 1-1 and 2, and more importantly, look at the farm. Only 20 ATS. He got outlaned hard by Bruce Lee, despite getting the kill, despite getting the tower. I have to say, I actually think it's Ice who are winning this game right now, especially since the later this game goes, the more comfortable they're going to be.
I've got to agree, and it's pretty much on the right now. It's Bruce Lee. I mean, we mentioned he is the key player for this team. Normally playing those carry roles. Here he is on solo mid Invoker, and he's using it well. I mean, he's so far focusing just on the Tornado EMP as well as the Cold Snap. Bottom lane, though, OD gets chain nuked by the Queen of Pain. There's the Tornado EMP again. Bruce Lee is being absolutely dominant. In goes Lestrak. OD ultimate. This is being turned around by Ice. They do lose OD, but they're going to get a couple kills. Queen of Pain going to blink his way out, but they do lose winner. A double kill for Lestrak. DK coming back in. Queen of Pain is there, has plenty of mana for a couple nukes, and it looks like ES may drop. Venomancer has a Gale if needed. Not going to even be needed. And Tongfu do manage to chain together some kills in return, but that was costly for them.
I do see a lot of discussion here in the stream chat, sorry to go off topic, about the lag, guys. I am not dropping any frames on my end, which means if there's lag, it's on Twitch TV's end. So the best thing you all can do right now, well, it'll actually be 6 minutes from now when you hear this, is to go ahead, click on that little wrench on the stream and just report a problem. Let them know that it's lagging. I'm not dropping frames. I also don't have any FPS lag, so it's definitely not me. I do apologize for the lag. Hopefully it'll get better. Other thing you can do for now, try a lower quality option. I believe they're available. Hal getting initiated on, eats the Malefice. Split Earth to follow. Hal will go down again, and he desperately needs the farm right now. He cannot afford to be dying. He's level 8. He's not compared to Bruce Lee. They were laning mid as we talked about. Level 11, really dominating this game at the moment. And with a quarterstaff picked up, he is very close to a 4-staff. I believe that will be the choice. It could be an Orchid as well. Either way, it's going to be a fantastic pickup.
Yeah, I mean, OD is going for, BKB. I don't know. Do you think BKB over 4-staff is going to be the right? I mean, it'll help survive the Queen of Pain, the winner and nukes. I mean, even DK, the chain stuns, but I feel 4-staff, the mobility is just so powerful. Yeah,
especially against a TF's lineup. They have a lot of heroes that you want to be able to chase down, like the Windrunner, the Queen of Pain. The other thing that it gives you is the ability to continue just sort of ripping apart these already squishy and easily locked down heroes like Venomancer and CM. So I think it gives them a little bit more of what they need. It's also going to help keep the OD alive. It'll help keep the Lestrak alive. The positioning is the key for a lot of these heroes. You want to hit good black holes. You want to hit good fissures, as it looks like Bruce Lee might be in a little bit of trouble. But look how tanky he is. Moo blinks in, and it's actually Moo who's being driven back. He has a haste turn. He should live, as we see a TP in by Lestrak, but not in time. While this is happening, the Dire top tower dies, so I suppose that's a good juke by Moo, kind of drawing some attention away. Did the bottom tower just go down?
Yeah, it just got taken by Ice. So they traded tier 1 towers, but Ice did waste a bit of time, did try to go for that Queen of Pain. Ultimately, I mean, I gotta say though, I mean, with this DK dying a couple of times, I mean, DK's currently sitting on bottle and treads. Nothing else, not even getting close to whether he wants to go for a pipe, maybe a... Yeah, it looks like there's a Headdress and a Ring of Regen. It'll be interesting to see if those may be Windrunners. Although it looks like Winner already has a Headdress, so it looks like we will see a pipe, possibly on DK, or maybe just going to go for that Drum of Endurance just to boost up his stats a bit. But I think ultimately, I mean, DK, very underfarmed at the moment.
Okay, I'm not... It sounds like it might just be audio lag on the stream, so let's go ahead and restart the Skype call real quick. I will call you right back.
No problem.
While this was happening, unfortunately, I did miss a kill on the Enigma, as well as the OD. Hey, Gods, welcome back. We just saw 2 kills break out. I actually did not catch those on the camera as I was alt-tab, but Tongfu getting 2 much-needed kills on the OD, as well as the Enigma. Looks like on the top lane, Bruce Lee continue to harass and really make miserable this Dragon Knight, who just never has mana for anything. Even with the bottle and the wand, 1 EMP completely blows through his pool. does Tongfu have any arcane boots, or are they building towards some? There is one set up on the Venomancer, so that is a start. But it's not enough. I mean, you really need 2 or 3 sets against an Invoker, especially when he's maxi Wex, or that EMP is just going to render the majority of your team useless.
Yeah, and I mean, Windrunner would have been the only real other candidate to get those on. I mean, a hero like Queen of Pain, you can't really go with them, as we will see. DK taking a bit of damage at top lane, Invoker just being an absolute pain with that Cold Snap harass, and I mean, this Invoker has just been so involved in all the action here. Smoke coming out from ES and Leshrac. ES has finally picked up some boots and going to be looking to punish whoever's at top lane. It's currently Venomancer setting up that Plaguelord wall. They're going to scout him out. This could be a very dead Venomancer. Leshrac, though, gets spotted. They lead with a couple stunts. Edict going down, but there's a lot of creep to help tank it. ES even throws an ulti. And it looks like Ice will come out on top. The TP counter gank a little slow, but there's Queen of Pain. They're going to clean up both these heroes. Tongfu taking advantage of those out of position support heroes.
Ice is just not playing patient right now. I mean, I like the thought there of, you know, those wraparound ganks can be very effective. I'm not sure if the smoke was actually spotted. I don't think it was, but there's a sentry ward here on the high ground, so if a hero was in the vicinity, they might have seen it. But either way, I don't think they need to be played aggressively right now. I think they're much better off just getting some defensive wards up and farming at this stage of the game. They have the heroes to farm quickly, and they have the heroes that benefit from the farm in the Leshrac, the Enigma, the Obsidian Destroyer, as well as the Invoker. Plus, hey, you mentioned the Earthshaker. All he's got is boots. It would be real nice for him to get some arcane boots, or maybe just a brace or something to either tank up, give him some regen, because right now he just doesn't have the mana pool. He's also only level 6, and against this lineup, you really want as much burst, you want that fissure maxed out, and you want to get that level 2 ult going.
No, I have to agree. I mean, we'll see maybe picking up some arcane boots when you can afford those. I always feel that rushing Blink Dagger just with only boots, if you just have too many mana problems, it's better to drop 2 or 3 fissures in a team fight than dropping just an ultimate with 1 fissure. I mean, it's all about the fissure. Until you get the level 2 or 3 ultimate, it's so hard to get a big ulti. I mean, with a Blink Dagger you can, but it's very rare that you can walk in, get an ulti, except maybe for a solo kill or something every now and then. It's not really something you can rely on as a source of DPS for a team with Earthshaker.
Yeah, we haven't done a whole lot of it this game, and I just took a look at the gold graph. It is actually dead even, which, again, I have to say favors Ice. Still, it's impressive that Tongfu is hanging on like this, considering it. I mean, it feels like they're a completely different team compared to last game. And I want to say it's less their play and more just the fact that these heroes have far less margin for error, especially that Venomancer, the Crystal Maiden, so easily picked off. It also goes back to Bruce Lee, and I keep on giving him credit. I'm going to continue to do so until he disappoints me or proves me wrong. Just crushing that middle lane. I mean, it is a tough lane for Dragon Knight, don't get me wrong, but he dominated it, and it looks like he's going for a quick Orchid here. He's about to have it up, and with that Orchid, that's lockdown for the Queen of Pain, the Windrunner, and of course the 2 squishy supports. Even DK, he's not tanky right now. I mean, he's got an Ogre Axe, some power treads. It's not enough, as we see Wen's taking some harassment on the middle lane, but he should be okay for the moment.
Yeah, no, it's really very, very limited in what what Tongfu can do at this point, especially as OD is getting more and more fun. Both OD and Queen of Pain, I mean, this is sort of reflects the new change in the metagame. They're going for BKBs. It's going to be OD with a BKB. They see him, Queen of Pain, they smoke, they run right into this Leshrac. Leshrac spotting out the Queen of Pain now, realizes, okay, I need to get the hell out of here. Queen of Pain even popping an ulti for it. Queen of Pain needs to blink out, does do so. Is there a fissure? Looks like it's not going to... Oh, Tornado not going to reach. And now DK is in the fray, gets Cold Snap, in trouble. The chain nukes, but so much armor, dodges the EMP, and it looks like DK will be okay for now. Another silence coming out. Is that an Orchid? Orchid is up on Invoker. Going to amplify all that damage, but DK still somehow alive. And there is the Black Hole coming in, only catching Queen of Pain and Crystal Main, but that's going to be enough as Enigma goes down. And they don't even kill Queen of Pain.
Oh, Tongfu is looking sharp, man. They are behind and they're just making it look easy. I mean, that was a great black hole and there was just no follow-up. The OD was not in the fight, and that is a big thing not to have at this stage of the game.
Yeah.
He desperately wants that BKB. Once he has the BKB up, there's no direct answer for it on Tongfu. All they can look to do is wait for it to end, try and kite away, run away, and hopefully get those charges down to a more manageable duration. But I guess he didn't want to risk losing the BKB. This is why, one of the reasons why a lot of players opt for something like a 4-stack, because it's a little bit easier, quicker to build, and it allows you to get involved in teamfights sooner. One of OD's weaknesses as a carry is his lack of mobility, and especially against Queen of Pain, Windrunner. If OD had a 4-staff, he could have been there in time, at least to clean up 1 or 2 kills, possibly to turn the fight. You can't underestimate that orb, you can't underestimate that ult, and of course Astral Imprisonment, a nice disable, might have been able to save some of his allies there as well.
Yeah, no, it's always going to be useful to have him come into those fights as soon as possible. He's now got the BKB up, so he can maybe try and help out, but he still suffers from mobility issues. I mean, whoever he goes on, Windrunner can Windrun away. Queen of Pain has got the Blink. CM, Venomancer, they're not going to be able to use those nukes defensively anymore against a BKB on this OD, but still, it's in this situation where OD, without Force Up, cannot chase heroes as effectively as you'd like. You've got some lockdown, though, coming from the ES Leshrac. Even the Enigma with that Malefice, it does combo well with a hero like OD, so we'll see how they can maybe team fight if they want to get OD involved now.
Speaking of BKBs, Tongfu is going for 2 of their own. I mentioned this in the pregame. BKB is a hard direct counter to OD. His damage is based on 2 things. His Orb, which is pure damage, but it only affects heroes that you cannot use on heroes that are magic immune. And secondly, his ultimate, which will not affect heroes that are magic immune. As it looks like OD may be in some trouble here. If he gets shackled, he might be dead. But in fact, Windrunner not going to make a go. Sancheng not sure where the rest of the opposing side is. That is due to the lack of ward coverage. And hey, that is one thing going Ice's way now, is they've managed to keep up some semblance of map control. Unlike the previous game, they're not getting picked off as much. The less action there is, I feel, the more it favors Ice. And for now, with these defensive wards being placed on both runes, the gank paths are relatively limited for Tongfu. As we see a huge dive top Bruce Lee in the shadow of the tower here. Great fissure, EMP, tornado, but the mechanism, I believe it was popped. These heroes, how are they tanking up and surviving there? I guess that was double magic wand, actually. There was no mech. The chase continues on to B-Boy. Moo has a BKB. He hasn't popped it yet. Decent stun onto B-Boy. It looks like B-Boy will go down. Nuke coming out from Crystal Maid to clean that one up. Ice is just getting picked apart here one by one, and once again, they're fighting without the OD. They're also fighting this time without an Enigma in position to drop a black hole.
Yeah, I don't know at what point you call that fight, but Invoker just was in the middle of the fray somehow. I don't think the EMP even landed either. He used the Tornado EMP, but the EMP triggered while they were mid-air, so it wouldn't have even landed on some of those squishy support heroes. And ultimately, another great team fight for Tongfu, who's, I mean, it's just coming down to their coordination and their team fight choices. Their decision-making has been spot on. I mean, I don't mind Ice playing this OD, farming away from the action, but ultimately, if his teammates are dying as they are right now, that's 2 team fights in a row going Tongfu's way fairly convincingly. It's going to be hard for OD to get involved later on, as his team are going to be underfarmed, and Tongfu getting more and more towers, more and more farm going their way.
Oh, EMP Tornado, it is going to hit on how to start, the silence to follow. They're going to continue the chase. OD drops the Astral Imprisonment there. Big BKB by Moo, and he's actually going to hit Enigma with the ultimate. Will Enigma be able to, actually, sorry, he already used the black hole, and in fact, Enigma is on the way out. GNA in a lot of trouble here. He's getting pretty low. Looks like the wand was popped. A Woke goes down. The BKB was used on OD already. They are able to get 2 kills in the end for 1, so a pretty good trade. BKB's flying left and right, man.
Yeah. Oh, this is all about the BKB. It's probably one of the favorite items by most of these Chinese teams, and DK still trying to farm his up at the moment, as Queen of Pain is getting up some decent farm, and we will see what Tongfu want to transition into doing now. They haven't taken out that many towers as of yet. They've just taken out those T1 towers, but they're not too worried about that, as long as they can get those core items up. As we do see Winner is actually going to go straight for that pipe, maybe. He has picked up a cloak. No, Venom's going for the pipe. Venom's almost got the pipe. Windrunner, just seeing with a cloak, probably going to get either a force up or just start building towards that Scythe of Vice.
Yeah, I think either would be perfectly valid choices here. The position of Windrunner is so important. If you're able to land a good shackle shot, and Force Staff is one of the most reliable ways to do that, that can just turn the tides of the fight. Who cares if anyone has BKB? If they get stun locked, they're not going to be able to pop it. That being said, the Dire lineup is very strong defensively, and frankly, I'm surprised they're losing anyone under their towers, but this just goes to show you, A, how good Tongfu's coordination is, and B, just how powerful that quick BKB is on the on the Queen of Pain. It really allows her to become an initiator, where otherwise she would be on the back lines, very squishy, very easily locked down. It also gives you response for the Orchid, and this is one of the downsides to the Orchid as an item, is that it is countered by a couple of things, particularly Manta Style and BKB, and in this game, BKB seems like a fantastic choice, so I wonder what the Invoker will go for next. The targets that he can use that Orchid on are becoming quite limited. At this point, I think the only great options are the Windrunner or maybe the Venomancer. The question is, will he be able to get in position to do it? And Enigma, I also want to mention, nowhere near a Blink Dagger, and I'm not sure we're going to see one this game, as he may need a BKB of his own to do anything in order to hit a good black hole. He had one in the previous fight, But that was kind of just lucky in terms of the positioning by Tongfu. Being very aggressive and, Enigma counter-initiated. You can't really count on that.
Yeah, and if he really wants, it may be one of those games where he's not even going to be relying on a black hole at all. He may just go for the pure utility, go for the mech, go for the pipe as well, and just give his team the team fight survivability that they maybe need to help deal with stuff like the Queen of Pain, Winner on a spam, even the Venom ultimate. They've got a lot of AoE magic damage. So I feel like a pipe could definitely benefit their team a lot here, and maybe just forgoing the BKB and as well as the Blink Dagger. And I mean, he's one of those things, he can just wait till the last minute to use that black hole. Even if it's only on 1 or 2 heroes, if it's a hero that's BKB'd up, that black hole can maybe stop a TP or maybe ensure a kill, even on a Queen of Pain who's preventing her from blinking away towards the end of the team fight. But just being patient and not worrying about getting a big black hole to win these team fights may be the key for Ice.
Yeah, and for now it looks like Tongfu is going to be forced back to defend this tier 2 mid. The question is, how hard will they try to defend it? And from the looks of it, extremely hard. 3 heroes migrating in that way. Queen of Pain TP'd out. Awoke is all by his lonesome in the enemy jungle, but they do have a fantastic kill ward, which we pointed out earlier has been replaced, giving them really nice vision. It seems like Tongfu just always has wards in the position they need to get vision, and it's a big reason why they're winning these fights. You also see the ward in the enemy jungle. I'm not sure exactly when that was placed down, but that's an area where you're very likely to see clashes, because that tier 2 tower top is definitely being hotly contested. It's also a common area to gank right around those neutrals, so Tongfu very smart wards as we see DK pushing in top, and it looks like Ice not feeling very confident. They're going to back off, and maybe they're smoked up, maybe going to try and defend. But the question is, will they be able to do so in time? They're not going to get there in time. They're going onto the high ground, actually. This is a pretty dangerous move, but they drop a sentry ward and a hill ward as well, so they'll be okay for the moment.
Yeah, no, they have got OD. OD was actually at bottom lane, farming away, putting a little bit of pressure on that T2 tower, but since some of those heroes went missing, he has backed off. DK going to TP bottom. His TP gets cancelled. How in trouble? He's going to pop the BKB, and he's going to try fight his way out of this one. Shackle goes in. Enigma, Leshrac shackled together. Great play from Samson. Tornado EMP goes through. BKB from the Queen of Pain, but the black hole only catching the DK. Winner walks into it, and it looks like Tongfu going to come out on top, but here comes the OD, popping the BKB, takes out Kabu, but the rest of his team dropping one by one. Enigma's now gone, and OD forced to run for his life. He's got the Mystic Staff, no Force Up, and he's being chased. BKB War Up, he drops an ultimate. Hal taking a huge amount of damage, although the tower no longer focusing him down. OD, defensive imprisonment, and now he's going to get shackled. Now he's going to go down. Tongfu, take out 4.
Oh man, that OD, he's late to every fight, so you either gotta criticize him or the team for trying to take the fights without him. I'm not sure what's going on that Ice side, but frankly they just have not been on the same page, and this is not what you expect from a team that wins the Group 5-0. But again, you got in the Gigabyte Dota Masters, but you have to give the credit where it's due, and that credit goes to Tongfu, who is behind to a team that is better late game, has better mid game team fight by all rights. The item selections have been on point. More importantly, the initiations, the positioning, the overall strategy has just been better from Tongfu. And Ice taking fights where they don't know the positioning, it's costing them time after time. The goal difference is now significant. Before it was pretty even, but that fight as well as the towers that went down. It wasn't just the tier 2 top. If they just let that go down and backed off, they wouldn't have lost the mid. But they forced a fight, they lose the tier 2 mid, and there goes a huge chunk of map control. They still have one decently close tower located towards the Roshan pit, which is that bottom tier 2. But they have no jungle control now, and when you have so many heroes that need farm and levels, and believe me, these heroes are not set with their items yet, they still need more. You mentioned the pipe, of course the OD still needs that hex up, he ideally wants a 4-staff as well. Without those items, Ice is not going to be able to win this game, and it's just got that much harder to be able to farm them.
Yeah, I mean, he wants that sheep, so he's also, I mean, he is very close to level 16. That level 3 ultimate will boost up his damage a lot. But right now, it is going to get harder and harder for Ice to fight. I mean, with all these BKBs up on Tongfu, they're going to get a sheep stick up on Queen of Pain as well. And I think it's starting to spiral a bit out of control with this somewhat lack of coordination, I have to say, from Ice. Although they have, I mean, they've had some strong points. They've kept up the map control as much as possible. They've got vision at the high ground near where that fight actually went. I mean, they had vision on the high ground. They knew what they were up against, but they went on the DK. They cancelled his TP, but as soon as they cancelled his TP, Tongfu swarmed in and found a fight which was 5v4 without an OD. And I mean, it's just, I think it just comes to Ice. Needs to make better not so much team fight choices, but need to pick their battles. Pick battles they can win and not go, not be sort of, I guess they were misled. They saw a TP, and as soon as they canceled that TP, they thought, oh great, we can kill this DK, but it wasn't really quite the case.
Yeah, Tongfu was all over that. They had the immediate reaction. Everyone was prepared to join the fight on time and in the correct location. Sure, DK was a little bit out of position, but frankly, it might have even been intentional. It was certainly a great bait opportunity, and you really can't initiate on a DK with a BKB unless you have some crazy burst. What they need and what they don't have is that Hex, which OD is looking for. With a Hex, especially if he's able to get it off in a timely fashion with the rest of the team there, they have enough burst to bring him down, but without it, they simply don't. I mean, maybe if you hit a black hole, but using that black hole in a single hero, there's no way to ensure it's going to go off. Shackle Shot can cancel it. Queen of Pain will soon have her own Hex to cancel. Of course, Frostbite as well. Tongfu continuing their aggression. They do run right by Sentry Ward here, so the gank should be spotted, and I expect to see Wen's not running into this. I cannot believe he ran into that. Maybe they weren't looking at the map, and how black hole actually popped. Queen of Pain is able to clean him up, so that is another black hole. Not accomplishing too much. This is a level 3 DK, and he's got that slow to go with him as well. B-Boy out of mana, being driven really far back. It looks like he will escape. Bruce Lee doing what he can, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Moo about to have that slow. Bruce Lee going to run onto the high ground here. He's got the ability to go into Ghost Walk. Do they have detection? I don't think they do. And OD, another fight where he's not there, but this time you really have to question the Enigma's decision to even be in that area. Yeah. I think someone on Tong or on Ice pinged that. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I saw a ping.
I'm not sure whose ping it was, but there definitely was a ping. But yeah, I don't think that one has nothing to OD. I like OD. Just farm away at bottom lane. He's putting some pressure towards that tower, but ultimately it was his team who got a bit caught out of position that time. The previous one was kind of 50-50. But that one definitely, OD doing the right thing. Just staying at this bottom lane. He's going to pressure this tier 3 tower, but meanwhile, Tongfu pounding away. Going to get this tier 3 tower by the looks of things, and with this DK level 3 ultimate, I think they should be able to take what they came for. And we'll see what DK wants to transition into now. He's got 4k gold. Could go for the Maelstrom build for a bit of DPS here, or could just go for an Assault Caress, give his team the aura, and just really help out their team fight.
Yeah, I think they'd both be great choices. As a silence on the Moo, Shackle the other way, it's not going to last. The Frostbite holding Bruce Lee in place here, and Moo actually pops the BKB. Bruce Lee, will he go down? Enigma does not have the black hole. Bruce Lee does go down, godlike on Moo, even though he fed a little bit earlier. Great return by him. OD finally in a fight, but with the BKB up on the DK, he is going to go for the TP out. Will he get it is the question. That's not a full duration BKB, but he is able to escape. And no chase ability here, although actually I say that the Blink Dagger on the ES, they might be able to get Rage of Sanshane, but no, he will get away. Moo blinking out as well. Moo getting very close to the Hex, only about 250 gold away. And with that Hex, well, speaking of Hexes, OD does have his, so that's something. And with that fight, it looks like they're going to go into Roshan. This could be an important Aegis pickup. Maybe give it to the Enigma. He seems to be the one who's having the most trouble staying alive. Or maybe that Invoker. That's probably the more likely choice.
Yeah, I'd give it either Invoker or OD, it has to be. I mean, sure, the Enigma, you can give it to him, but he's having problems staying alive. But he instead of dying once, he'll just die twice then and waste the Aegis. So ultimately, not going to be the best decision here. ES does need to be a bit careful, but this will help out Ice a bit here. I think they'll probably just give it to OD because he is their hard carry, and even though he's got BKB, he is fairly squishy. I mean, not so much squishy, just is hard to position himself and can get picked off a bit. So we'll see what he wants to go for. I really feel he should have gone for that 4-staff. Even at this point, I still feel 4-staff is not a bad pickup because of how much he suffers chasing heroes down, or even go for a Blink Dagger just because keeping up with them, doing enough damage, you need latch-on abilities. And I mean, the Earthshaker, the Enigma, they're falling very quickly. It's all up to heroes like the Invoker to stay alive and help out, provide the backup that this OD needs at the moment.
Yeah, one other thing to... I guess one minor mechanics thing for anyone who's not familiar to keep in mind, when you're in BKB form in Dota 2, you cannot use Force Staff on yourself while you're magic immune. Yeah. That being said, you could still Force Staff your allies, and it definitely would have saved Bruce Lee in that last fight if OD had been there to do it. You can also Force Staff the Enigma in to drop his ult, you can Force Staff the Earthshaker, you could generally use it to position other heroes, even while your BKB's up, and of course when it's down, you can use it. So it definitely would be a worthwhile pickup. It also gives them a decent chunk of damage. Don't underestimate it for that, but it's just such a great item at every stage of the game. I think Blink Dagger would actually fit in well, though, because with that Hex up, you suddenly have amazing initiation. You have a Blink Hex, you have a Blink Fissure as well, you've got the Tornado. And this is one of those rare situations where I think Blink might be even better, so I'm glad you brought that up. But yeah, I still think Force Staff is a decent choice here. Would not be surprised to see it. Right now, the goal may be to save for buyback because the racks are exposed. But if he's ever able to get enough farm for another item, if he's bold enough to go for another one, then I think Blink or Force Staff, and possibly leaning more towards the Blink, would be the way to go.
And it's good because it's a small item. I mean, he may just be inclined to say, okay, I need to carry this game. Let's go for something big like a Shiver's Guard here. But going for a small item like Blink Dagger can give him such greater teamfight involvement. Oh no, mid lane though, Bruce Lee. caught out. He's going to get ulted by Queen of Pain, and that was
no
a bit
buyback.
silly.
No buyback, and that could be Rex. Without this Invoker, it is going to be tough to defend. Now, that being said, they have a great turtling lineup. They have an Enigma, they have an ES, they have a lot of spam to bring down the waves. But that Invoker is such a crucial part of their team fight. Also part of the stall tactics is they are going to smoke up. Are we going to see a wraparound attempt here by Ice? It looks like they want to go for it. And Tongfu may be caught entirely off guard. Nice hill ward being placed. Will they be able to get the position they need? OD in position. It looks like Tongfu is actually thinking about backing out. They may know what's up. OD going in first. He's got the Aegis. This is a good hero to initiate with. BKB popped on the Dragon Knight as well as the Earthshaker coming in. His Echo Slam did a decent amount of damage. Black Hole on 2, doing a lot here. The right click coming out. Moo will go down. He will blink away. That godlike streak is over. And it looks like the OD is going to continue to chew through the enemy lineup here. Great initiation from him. The fight is over, and they're able to win thanks to a fantastic backstab. That was a ballsy play by Ice, because if that did not work out, that would have been game, or at least a double set of racks, losing a couple heroes there. Awoke goes down as well. 3 for 1. Venomancer trying to do what he can. It looks like OD might go down. The fight is not over just yet. Windrunner able to shackle him. Venomancer Gale will hit, but this is an Aegis, so he will come back. Another kill going in the OD pockets. That is a triple, although the game's not going to record it as such, and Wen's not going to be able to chase this Windrunner down. Tornado, will it hit? That's a super long range tornado, but no, it will not.
It seems so much longer in Dota 2. I think it's just the visual aspect of it. It does seem to just go on forever and ever. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, the OD coming from behind, like you mentioned, just causing problems. I mean, catching Tongfu by surprise. And I mean, Enigma was there with the Blink Black Hole to back him up. ES as well. The Blink Dagger's just working well for them. Even without the Invoker, they managed to hold. They managed to get a great team fight there. And that Black Hole catching both Queen of Pain and DK. Even though they were in BKB, Queen of Pain died just to the right-click damage, even without the Arcane Orb.
Yeah, and that Arcane Orb is a lot more than just the right clicks. Trust me, the Orb is doing a lot more damage, because not only is it about the same number, but it's pure damage, so it's not reduced by armor or by magic resistance. Hao is going to eat a silence as well as a fissure on the mid lane. They want to go for a tower. Oh, Hex in onto Bruce Lee. They want to go for a fight while the Black Hole's down. This is a good time to fight. BKB is popped. Bruce Lee is the target of choice, so they have detection. Shackle not going to latch. That was actually pretty close, especially with some of the crazy shackles we've been seeing lately. Bruce Lee, nice tornado. He will get out. Actually, initiation the other way, and BKB is popped by this OD. What a beast he is. He's driving everyone back. Definitely blast to fall. Actually, Dragon Knight is kiting him, and that's the power of that level 3 Dragon Form. Shackle shot will hit. Moo going to be chasing down Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee will die. From the looks of it, I don't think he'll escape. Quad Bolt not going to hit, but I think Bruce Lee will go down. One more scream does the trick with the OD dead, without the Aegis. As I say that, another blink in, but the Hex is there, and B-Boy in a lot of trouble. Ice just getting picked off. Wen's no ult on him. He is just going to die too. And who's got buyback? That is the question to ask now. No buyback on OD, no buyback on the Earthshaker, no buyback on the Enigma, and no buyback on the Invoker. Nobody's got buyback, and that's going to be at least 2 sets of racks, if not the game.
Yeah, that's one of those things where that last fight, I mean, they held it. It looked fantastic fight. That's one of those things where it looks great. It looks like they're still in a fairly decent position, but one bad fight at this stage in the game, and they lose a rack, probably even a double racks here. That is the power of this Tongfu lineup, and that the amount of pressure and aggression they're putting on. That fight went their way. They found the OD, picked him off. Not so much as picked him off, but just waited, held out while the BKB went. The BKB only already down to 5 seconds for OD, because he's been popping it so much, and a double rack for Tongfu. This is now looking very dire for Team Ice.
Wow, Tongfu, this is what a top Chinese team does. As soon as they see an opportunity, they will pounce on it. A lot of people, the stereotype for Chinese teams, they're very passive. They want to get their carry maxed out in terms of farm. That is absolutely not the case. Look how aggressive Tongfu has been at points in the game where they should be aggressive. They sense weakness, they sense opportunity, they know Enigma Black Hole is down. They go right in, Queen of Pain immediately pops the BKB, hexes up the Invoker, and they just continue to chase. Nice teamwork and overall good movement by the team. And I think that's really one of Tongfu's strongest points, if not their strongest point. It's not the drafting, it's not the individual play, it is the movement from the players, both around the map, sort of those macro movements, and then also the micro movements in the fight. Things like the Vengeful Spirit swap in the last game, just to sort of juke around. I forget who it was, but so I probably shouldn't use that as an example, but either way, I think you guys know what I'm talking about here. Just those little touches of dancing around enemy heroes, it all seems so coordinated. And even when Tongfu is behind, even if they've got the early game lineup, you could not count them out. Great showing by them. Of course, the game is not over yet, but it is still a very steep hill to climb for Ice. It's so hard to come back from double racks, especially without fantastic pushers, which they're very much lacking in as the push commences on the bottom lane.
Yeah, and we'll see what OD can do. He has got that blink dagger, but whether or not it's going to be enough to get the positioning he needs in these team fights. I mean, with Mech, Pipe, BKBs, Reaver has actually been picked up by DK. He's almost got that heart, and with that, it's going to be Tornado going to go flying, and then may try to pick up this Venomancer. No, they're not going to commit to this. Cold Storm actually with the silence going down. They don't want to chase too far in. Hex goes before OD can BKB. Blink, Black Hole. Is there anything to cancel? It doesn't look like there is a nice Black Hole. Not going to be much follow-up damage in the Mech, the Pipe. ES, Blink, ulti with the OD. They take out DK. They take out CM. What a big team fight for Ice. They're going to hold. They're going to force back Queen of Pain and Winner, and they are still in this game.
Oh my god, that fight! Okay, shout out right now to Wentz, because he carefully waited for every single disable to be used. He either caught the heroes who had them on cooldown, or he just made sure that the heroes who weren't being caught by the black hole didn't have them. That black hole just won them the fight, and Ice still has a shot. Like we said, they're not out of it, but even after winning a big fight, both top and mid are pushing. They're not able to turn this into too much. I say that, blink in, initiation on Moo. He goes down even in haste form. God damn, that OD hits hard. And Windrunner going to be continuing to run away. Hex is available if she needs a tornado, narrowly missing. Sanchez continuing to run. Enigma actually has a blink dagger. It's coming up cooldown. Blink in from the OD to start. The Astral Imprisonment to follow. Ice Wall, Bruce Lee blocking in the Windrunner from one direction. She still tries to go that way. And it looks like Sanchez will go down. Indeed, he gets cleaned up. So I think that actually works out to be a team wipe. As I believe Veno did die in the last fight. Yeah, he just came back to life. So a team wipe for Ice, even though they're not going to call it. The game is not going to call it one officially. Still very, very impressive, and they're hanging on, man. What this gives them is an opportunity to push out top and mid, so they're not in constant danger of losing another set of racks. But still, one fight going against them, and they're going to be in a lot of trouble. Roshan a few minutes away from respawning, but if they can secure that Roshan, they may have a chance.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's totally the thing there. It's one bad fight and the game's over. I mean, that's how they lost 4 Raxes. One bad fight and they lost 4 Raxes. The next one will be completely GG. I mean, they're hanging in there with the power of this OD, and you've got to feel, I mean, if that one fight they lost had gone a bit better, this game would still be maybe even slightly in Ice's favor. Its OD is getting more and more farmed. He's hit over 200 creep kills now. He's got the sheep, BKB Blink, and sitting on 3k gold. Possibly just going to want to save for buyback at this point. But, I mean, even with buybacks, if they lose a fight, not everyone's going to be able to buy back. Maybe the Invoker, maybe the OD. But without even heroes like the ES and Leshrac not having buyback means that they probably cannot defend in a 5v3 situation. So maybe it's even worth buying his next big item, the Shiver's Guard or something. I feel saving for buyback at this point is just going to be playing it too safe. They need to go all out here if they want to win this game.
Yeah, they're so reliant on those big ultimates. I mean, if Enigma hits the black hole, then they win the fight. If he doesn't, they either lose it or at best they're able to escape. And so you save for buyback, but then your BKB is on cooldown. Maybe your Hex is on cooldown. Your ult will most likely be on cooldown, whether you're the OD or if you're the Invoker. I mean, his spells have decent cooldowns. They're not as long as those big ultimates, but they still take a decent amount of time, especially the Deafening Blast. The EMP Tornado recently, the cooldown was nerfed, I believe. I forget if the EMP was as well. I know the Tornado cooldown was nerfed. So it's just those little extra things that you have to wait for. A buyback it's not an anti-mage buyback where everything he needs is pretty much available instantly. It's not a Morphling buyback. These are heroes that rely on their spells, their abilities, and their items to be really effective in these fights. And so it's not, it's one more factor to consider, one more reason not to save for buyback, where otherwise you might do so. That being said, I would not be surprised to see them save for buyback, nor would I say it's a bad choice, but it's one of those situations where it might be justified, even though you're in a late game situation to not save for it. So great point you made there.
Oh yeah, when you're pushed into a corner, I mean, sometimes you just have to make those risks. Although, I mean, you can play it both ways. I mean, if you think you can win by playing it safe, or if you want to maybe afford to lose a team fight and have those buybacks, I mean, OD, especially if they're going for that Rax, OD can buy back and be right back in the fight, especially if OD runs in first. So we will see. Probably Tongfu, who will want to play it safe now. They've got the 4 Raxes, and they know this game is theirs to lose. Roshan's about to respawn with both top and mid lane pushing in with the super creeps in those respective lanes. They could go for the Roshan and play it this safe, but Smoke is going to be popped by Ice. They're lurking around this bottom lane, looking to make something happen, and it doesn't look at the moment like Tongfu have much vision of this. No wards, so to speak of. Great de-warding actually coming from Ice, both at the bottom river as well in that bottom lane. There's de-wards all over the map.
Yeah, and this is all about knowing your opponent, because we've seen in the previous game, and if you've ever watched Tongfu in the past, past. eHome is very similar in this regard, and really all good teams. When they get that advantage, well, we'll talk about that later as B-Boy jumps in, drops a fissure. Roshan is up, of course, and that's where you see all these teams frantically looking to group up there. Now, with the Roshan respawning, Tongfu is going to have a much easier time trying to make a go at this, simply because Ice has their top and middle lanes to deal with. So at best they can leave maybe 3 or 4 heroes in that Roshan area. Someone's got to stay top to defend it. It's a little bit unfortunate to lose your Rax top instead of mid, because it just makes that a little bit harder for a hero to get to the Roshan pit if they need to. So it's one of those incremental differences that might end up being a big deal, as it looks like Ice might have to give this one away. The question is, who do you give the Aegis to? I'm thinking either the Quap, maybe the Windrunner, because the DK, he's so tanky. If he dies, well, frankly, you probably lost the fight anyway. With the heart picked up, as well as that BKB. More importantly, he's not going to come back in Dragon form, and the BKB won't be up when he respawns. So
yeah.
Those are the two big considerations.
No, I agree. I don't think they're actually going to go for Roshan here. They'll wait. They'll just chip away at it, force Ice to react, and then once Ice react, they say, okay, let's back off. Let's wait for the mid and top lane to push. But no, OD goes in at mid. He's going to get sheep. This OD caught out of position by the looks of things. He's got no backup at all. Gets chain hex. Going to go down here. Does have buyback though. And it looks like he's going to have to pop that or just allow Tongfu to take down Roshan here. As Queen of Pain taking mid damage, but ultimately it's going to be A-okay. And Tongfu, it looks like they're not even going to go straight for Roshan. They may try force that buyback. There we go. It has happened. And now they can just poke at Roshan, force Ice to react again. And as soon as Ice react, they don't even have to commit to Roshan. They can just wait again for those lanes to push and just play this slow and steady, ensure they get the win. The oh so important. The only thing that really matters here ultimately, not how you win. All that matters is that you do win.
Yep, and if you're Tongfu, this is really where you're going to be at your most comfortable. Just slowly, sort of spreading the map, biding your time, waiting for that moment when Ice makes a mistake. And like you said, they can chip away at Roshan. Now, as you say that, or as we discuss this, it looks like Ice has gotten the lanes pushed off to their satisfaction. And with OD, he's one of the few heroes that has that raw DPS output to work down Roshan in a timely fashion. But Tongfu is, actually, they're nowhere in position to defend this. I thought they were going to move towards Roshan. They're going to give it up, and this is a big deal. Especially since we just saw OD use his buyback without an Aegis. If he dies again, that's just flat out game. Or at least likely another set of racks, at least the tier 2 bottom. It's going to be another deficit for them, an even steeper hill to climb out of, but they claim it. So a big win for Ice. And hey, it's not over yet, guys. It's funny because the chat is 6 minutes behind us, and a lot of people were counting Ice out after that engagement that we saw about, like, say, I think 8 minutes ago or so, where they lost that big team fight, lost 2 sets of racks, and here we are. They pick up the Aegis. They have a great chance to win. OD is definitely the hardest carry in this game, especially the way the DK is building, which is very tanky, especially with his BKB being low in terms of the duration. So Ice, they're not out of it yet, guys. Don't count them out, and if you were, then hopefully you'll be mistaken, because I want to see a 3-game series.
Oh, 3-game series would be great, and this is definitely one of the more interesting round 1 matchups. I expect Aeon and Dustbin will be a very close fought one. So not Aeon, Dustbin, sorry, Dustbin and World Elite will be another interesting one. But this, I mean, Ice had put up a really strong fight, especially in this game too. I mean, game 1 was a bit one-sided. I mean, Tongfu, once they started getting ahead, it just got completely out of control. But this game, it was Tongfu were ahead, and Ice, they're fighting back and staying close, although losing 4 racks is really hurting them. But they're not letting it get to them, at least not yet.
Well, Gods, I don't know if you've ever cast with Luminous before, where he's made the sort of his theory crafting point, but hey, I'm going to throw it in there just to give the viewers something to talk about, because we are in a pretty passive sort of farming stage of the game. Luminous has this theory that losing racks can actually favor your team if the game goes long enough, because by losing those racks, it means the creep equilibrium will always be at your side of the map, so you'll be seeing the creep wave a little more often. Sure, they give you less gold, less experience, but at the same time, the enemy is not really seeing them at all. Of course, I disagree with this because you can farm the enemy jungle, you can get Roshan, you can farm their ancients. But looks like we'll have to talk about that later as Ice is trying to initiate from the low ground. This is a very awkward angle. Immediate blink in, Hex to follow. BKB has not been used yet, but he's got the Aegis, so he's going to hang on to it. Windrunner is going to go down. Huge pickoff to start this fight. Hal pops the BKB. He's looking to take out the OD. OD goes down once. The question is, will he go down again? This time he's got the BKB to work with. Leshrac dies, and it's OD versus Dragon Knight. Big flying creature versus even bigger flying creature. And it looks like Hal is going to win the battle. Great shackle shot. That was a buyback by the Windrunner, I want to say. Either way, Enigma Black Hole on 2. Oh, did she actually get away? B-Boy, huge meteor coming through. The fight not over yet, but I think it's favoring Tongfu just a touch. As I say that, Hao is going down all the while creeps are pressuring the racks. Either way, Ice is going to have to back after this. They might get Hal before doing so. God, he is low. That tornado coming through. He's going to drop a gem if he dies. Indeed, he does drop the gem. Okay, so did Windrunner die there, or did my eyes see it?
No, it was your eyes to see. It was Crystal Maiden. Just a Crystal Maiden that OD blinked on and killed.
Oh,
She
man.
took out Crystal Maiden, and Windrunner and DK said, okay, you can take out Crystal Maiden, we'll just kill you twice. OD couldn't even pop the BKB because OD just got chain stunned by a DK stun, a shackle shot, and it was not a good trade for the OD. Lose both the Aegis as well as dying a second time, all for a Crystal Maiden kill.
Oh my god. Well, that changes the fight a little bit. It looked, getting the Windrunner in that fight, if that was the Windrunner like I thought it was, that was totally worth an Aegis, that initiation. Especially because he held on to the BKB. Because with that Windrunner out of the fight, I mean, you saw just how important the Shackle Shot, the Hex, the Mecha, the Port Staff are. But for a Crystal Maiden, that's a horrible decision to fight. I also really dislike the movement they took, the path they took, going from low ground to high ground. It's just such an awkward angle to approach at. I mean, sure, you have an Aegis to work with, but either way, we're going to see a big fight break out bottom.
Yeah, no, things are getting a bit crazy as we will see Leshrac shackled down to a tree. Power Shot going to fall. Nice Deafening Blast does slow down the Tongfu momentum, but still Venno in a bit of trouble. Pipe being popped as well as the mech, and it looks like Tongfu going to lose Queen of Pain as, I mean, a lot of just physical damage. Taking Queen of Pain out, and there's no buyback, it looks like. OD blinking in. Sheep Sanching. Windrunner will go down with the help of the Fissure, and still Ice in this game, and they've managed to keep most of their base intact. Those tier 4 towers taking a lot of damage, but they're still looking okay here.
Oh my god, the endless armies of creeps just descending into the enemy base. But yeah, you're right, they're hanging on for now. The question for Ice will be, how do you turn these small wins into a Rax, or at least some tier 2, tier 3 towers? Because if you look at the map right now, Tongfu, all of the lanes are constantly pushing deep into Ice territory. At best, they control maybe a quarter of the map, and it's often less. Like, when those two lanes push onto the high ground and the Dire base, it's a lot less than that. It's probably like an eighth of the map, and with that little map control, I mean, just the raw math of having to run from your base all the way to the enemy base, by the time you get there, they're gonna be fairly close to respawning. So Ice, I mean, I feel like Ice has to win. They have to completely wipe Tongfu and either catch them without buyback, catch them without some big cooldowns, maybe a boot, like a group boots of travel, something crazy like that onto Enigma Eidolons. I mean, how do you get there in time otherwise? I'm trying to get creative here, because I feel like that's what Ice has to do.
You've got to, and this is one of those things where when you've lost two lanes, your tier 4 towers are being pounded away on. They're not going to be able to push unless all those lanes are pushed out. Otherwise, those towers that by their throne will go down almost instantly. Their throne will start getting chipped away, and that's something you've got to defend. So they're going to have all lanes being pushed out. They're going to need multiple boots of travels. And basically they're going to have to win a team fight convincingly. At the moment, they're winning team fights maybe every now and then, but only by getting a couple kills. It's never like a big 4 or 5 wipe and losing none of their heroes, which is what they're going to have to get. And then push out mid lane or bottom lane, one of the lanes, while they have heroes just defending lanes with boots of travel who then come in, join up for the fight. But ultimately, they're going to, this game, if Ice are going to win this, it's going to go for 70, 80 minutes. I don't see them winning it before 60 minutes here.
Yeah, they're going to have to win a bunch of fights. They're going to have to get an Aegis and a Cheese, and that Cheese might be the difference they need. They're going to have to use the Aegis better because, I mean, hey,
yeah.
Despite my big slip-up, that was an Aegis for Crystal Maiden, and that is not a good trade at all. It also allowed the Radiant to do a bunch of damage to these towers. One of the throne towers is deniable. Frankly, I'm not even sure this one is worth keeping up anymore. It's like 2 creep auto attacks and it's dead. It might even go down here as the Leshrac is quite low. Won't be able to tank the creeps. Looks like he'll be okay for the moment. But the throne is so exposed. And if you're Tongfu, I mean, we've talked about Boots of Travel for the Dire. That would be a fantastic pickup for them. I don't know if you've seen, I think it was not the most recent WoW Dota, but maybe the episode before that, the Dota 1 episode, where there was a huge smoke gank onto a throne, and the thrones died almost simultaneously. I mean, we're not looking at simultaneously exposed thrones here, but a smoke gank onto the throne, it might not be a bad decision, at least if Tongfu starts to hit a brick wall. For now, they don't need to do it, but it's something to keep in the back pocket for them.
No, I mean, it was even earlier. It was an earlier point when that most recent Roshan was up, and it ended up being OD getting the Roshan. I mean, that was one of those situations where they could have almost smoked, ganked the hero who was defending the top lane. There was a hero who was defending the top lane near the throne who was completely alone, who they could have picked off. But instead, they sort of just all hung around the Roshan pit, sitting around, sort of poked at Roshan, but never really made anything happen. And that was a situation where they really needed to get some kind of result, get something to help out their team, whether it was a pick-off in the top lane near the throne or just to prevent the OD getting that Roshan. That really did keep Ice in the game, that Aegis. Even though he didn't use it well, it was just denying, the most important thing was denying the Aegis from Tongfu. If Tongfu can get that Aegis on a hero like Queen of Pain, maybe the DK, although DK you probably prefer to have the cheese on because he won't respawn in ulti form, it can really basically punish Ice, and that could be the GG if they get Aegis and cheese with this next Roshan, which will respawn. Probably, when is it actually respawning? There's no timer after the moment.
I think it's at least 5 or 6 minutes. I mean, that fight was a couple minutes ago. I want to say it's somewhere between like 4 to 6 minutes, something like that. Yeah, it's odd that the timer went down. Of course, when Valve adds these great features like the timer, they become a crutch, and so even if you otherwise might think to write it down as a caster, which I'm not saying I would have, but I might have tried. You're not going to when you know there's a timer to look at. So without the timer, if anybody knows in the chat, I guess you can't help us because you're going to be 6 minutes behind. So with Roshan down now, I guess it's a good time to take stock of item progression here. Is nobody is maxed out yet. We're not at that LGD versus eHome 90-minute stage where items stop mattering. Items still matter at this point in the game, especially for a lot of these sort of underfarmed heroes. Leshrac really wants a BKB, and that would be very helpful because in the last fight we saw Leshrac just melting instantly, while an OD wasn't able to do enough to help him. If Leshrac had a BKB there, he requires a lot more attention. The only hero who can effectively deal with him is that DK, and ideally the DK in BKB form. And Leshrac, you don't want to have to focus Leshrac when there's an OD on the field.
Oh, instant BKB.
Oh man.
That was so close.
And that was like
only half second away from being a dead DK.
And I don't think he has buyback because he has a lot of unreliable gold. He would not have buyback. With that depth, they could at least get the lanes pushed out. Maybe, I think a tier 2 as well. Huge escape by him. And Tongfu maybe getting a little fatigued here. It has been a long day. The games have been, I mean, this game is getting to be quite a marathon. So if somehow Ice is able to win this, Tongfu is going to be tired and maybe a little frustrated because there was a point in this game where they just clearly had it, as we see Blink onto Hal, as well as a Hex to follow. The BKB is available, Swap ult is dropped, as well as Enigma ult. Hal getting completely locked down. He will go down, and like I said, he doesn't have the buyback, but meanwhile, it's a mad dash to the throne. Awoke is working down, Deafening Blast onto the entire creep wave. Echo Slam from Earthshaker, everything being done to slow down this push. Hex onto Earthshaker, Enigma no black hole, but just zoning back the Radiant heroes as best they can. Throne slowly be taking a little bit of chip damage, but it looks like Ice is going to be able to work through everyone quickly, and in fact, Tongfu is driven back. Mu is going to look to blink out here. He's got the silence on him. Will we get one more stun? The Malefice is available, but not in range is the Enigma. And Invoker actually buys back. They really want to get a couple more kills off of this. They also just need the raw help to defend the throne. Crystal made it! Oh, it's so huge, but just not enough. The throne is in a lot of trouble here. Buybacks everywhere. Ice cannot afford for this throne to take any damage. What a fight.
And, I mean, Ice get a few kills, but ultimately losing those towers protecting the throne, and now the throne being very bare. I mean, Tongfu, maybe they didn't really win that fight, but hey, they're still in the exact same position they were in before, but slightly better off with those towers down. And they're just going to keep on pressuring, preventing Ice from being able to do anything. They can't really push. There's no openings for Ice to really win this game. I mean, it's not a situation, it's really hard for Tongfu to close this out, but it's also going to be even harder, near impossible for Ice to actually find a way to push on out these lanes and, I mean, ultimately take down Tongfu's base. It's just, there's no openings.
Yeah, and this is one of the weaknesses of a carry like an Obsidian Destroyer. He doesn't have any AoE. Sure, his orb hits really hard, but it is single target, and in a late game situation, suppose this was an anti-mage with a Battle Fury instead, which of course, the game would have gone very differently, but just suppose it was. He'd have a much better ability to clear the creep waves out, and generally he'd just be better at anti-push. And in this kind of situation, having those carries that can also push can make a big difference. There's really nothing that you can fault Ice for. Of course, you never expect to be in this situation. I don't care what team you are, but they're just doing the best they can for now. I mean, I can't think of a single item they can buy. They don't have any melee heroes with any kind of right-click power. I mean, Earthshaker's not going to go for a Battle Fury. The creep clearing ability is just not there. I mean, they have decent AoE, don't get me wrong, but at this stage of the game, nukes are not that quick. Leshrac will be able to work down the creep wave, but you really want some sort of hard-hitting physical attack dealer at this stage of the game, and they don't have it.
And the other big problem for Ice is that then there's no, I mean, you mentioned item progression a bit before, but there's no item progression whatsoever at the moment for Ice. OD has not picked up a new item in a long, long time. It looks like he's just bought up something. We'll have to see what that is going to be. He's brought up another Mystic Staff. Okay, so he's put a Mystic Staff, but this has been a long time since he's picked up an item. He doesn't have buyback at the moment, so spending that gold is a perfectly reasonable decision. But, I mean, Ice are spending a lot of time saving for buyback and also using their gold for buyback. So as a result, they've got no items recently, and now OD, if he gets picked off, this could be absolutely terrible. He does go off the BKB before the next cheap stick comes in, but once that BKB wears off, we will see Windrunner looking to go on him as, Queen of Pain, silence, OD ulti, gets the kill, and now Windrunner in trouble. As bottom lane, we will see Benno DK, they've come in, and they've taken out the ES. They're going to look for this Enigma. Enigma has a black hole. We're going to see this black hole come, I believe, although it's going to be too late. OD is down, and there's not enough damage to deal with How, I don't think. Lestrak coming back in. Can they get the DK? Pipe is popped. The creep wave is there as well, doing a lot of damage. Enigma will go down, and this DK, I think he has just got enough farm, enough survivability that Tongfu has now won the game.
How too good, man! Oh my god, that DK is massive. What a finish! Oh boy. I am disappointed, I'm not gonna lie. Simply because I was enjoying this game so much I wanted to see a best out of 3, but my hat is off to Tongfu. Nobody would have looked at these lineups and expected them to win a late game battle, at least not without a huge advantage in the early game, and Ice won a lot of mid-game fights, but Tongfu was just a little bit better with their positioning. They took advantage of their map control, and ultimately it's not about getting those kills, it's about killing the throne.
Yeah, no, exactly. And they just got pushed against the wall, and even though they were sort of, I mean, in some ways, that last sort of 15-20 minutes, they were often outplaying their opponents, but that's not enough when you're already in such a bad position. That one team fight where they got those 4 racks just was, I mean, it was ultimately the decider. That was the crushing blow where Ice did not have any options. No matter how well they played, it was just going to be an impossible task to get back into that game.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for game number 2. Tongfu takes the series 2-0. If you missed any of the games from earlier today, the VOD